Greetings, vloggers, followers, and bloggers. It's another great week here. Just been reading a lot this week. Been reading books. Been thinking. Um, Coronavirus, it really kicks you in the butt sometimes. Sometimes it knocks you down, and it's hard to get back up off your feet. I think about a lot of things. I think about, I know there were things in the past chapter of my life that I didn't do right, and things happened, and I never got to go back to my home, and I had to come live here before the coronavirus started. It did start, but it wasn't as big, and then eventually the repairs weren't done to my home that I needed to be safely live there. The coronavirus came, and so I just chose to move back with my parents for the time being. And just going, just seeing people live independently. I've seen a lot of that recently. It's brought some tears to my eyes, but it makes me think, of what I need to do better too. Um, I want to do that. I have some applications in some places. Granted, the coronavirus is going to take its course. We can't control that. Only prayer, and if you believe in that, in God, will get you there. As far as that goes, um, you just can't control anything about it, and I think that's just the thing you have to do. Um, I miss it. Do I miss it? I miss it for more than anything in the world. But I have to be safe, and I have to have a safe home to live in first and foremost. And I have to be happy. And I think that's the thing. I think I would just want to be happy. But regardless, I think it's just I have to realize that. And so I've been seeing a lot of things on Facebook over the week about victimization, and I attended a training last week. And if I could get the wheel, um, I'm gonna pop it up here in just a second. But it's the victimization with disabilities wheel, and so I want to show that to you, and I want to point that. So hold on one second, and I will be switching to that. Thank you. So, as promised, we're going to look at the power and control wheel now. I do have to give a trigger warning out there. This may attract some triggers, so you may want to step away from the screen while this is on, or put it on, skip over it. Um, so, this is Domestic Violence Month, and it also is about victimization. And I feel it's important to express these views because um, the different feelings and expressions that I have experienced, and I've experienced many of these, not all of them, but I have experienced many of them. We're going to go counterclockwise. These may not all apply to somebody in the autism spectrum, but they do happen, and I just want to point that out. So we're going to start with physical abuse. Uses restraints. I have been restrained. Um, I don't know if they told me it was for my safety. Um, I believe that in some instinct, but I believe it was a little overly used on my, from when I was a teenager, and I feel that that was what I was taught, and not the calm down, not the techniques that are today. Today, restraints is used as a last resort. Withholds are brakes assisted devices, and I see this as a segue used. You know, sometimes, and it hurts. And actually, I've seen events concluding to autistic individuals no longer being with us in this world as a result of not being able to have the device when they've been in a very state of having a brain aneurysm or a concussion, and and it led up to their death, and that's sad. It does inflict physical injury. If the one, I think, physical injury is it happens, and even, I think it's used as a control feature. A lot of times, being in control is, being fearful or being scared, and that's scary. Moving on clockwise to sexual abuse. Not going to get into that too much. It's pretty straightforward. Non-consensual sex should not be happening. It happens. I think it does happen. In sex trafficking, it was Sex Trafficking Month last month, and it happens. Sometimes you don't even know it, and I think education needs to be key there for that. I think if a person moves out, it's very important to be aware of what's about you know doing about getting into that field. That should be taught in school or taught somewhere. Making decisions about birth control. I saved that one for last. Ironically, um, I just feel that I personally feel now I'm a male and I always will be a male, but I feel if possible, if at all possible, that decision should be a unilateral, uniform decision with as much consent as possible. I understand there's safety things, when people go out and do things whatsoever, but you can't speak for that person if you don't um, know what they really want in life. Maybe pills might be the thing for right now. You know, um, but I would definitely wait, to be sure before having operations. Operative procedures before that. There's a lot of talk about puberty blockers right now. I've heard about that. I just don't know what to say about that. I think people, they're making that's a decision. That's again, it's like a decision, and I think it's the power and the control of that. Moving clockwise to neglect, withholding medications. I think that's the worst thing, and I haven't taken. There's been times when I haven't taken them, and now it's been about a week or 3 weeks, I believe, 2 or 3 weeks that I've been on my medication, and I see a monumental difference now. I wouldn't know what to do without it. I get to go see the doctor next week. I think that's going to be a good thing to to learn more about it, and I'm keeping the journal as I promised, so that's good. Refusing to take somebody to the doctor, and I've seen that too. Or to give up disability services. Um, I've had people that I've known that I've met in programs. They had the best. They were starting to get better and wanted the job, and we'll get into that in a minute. But people wanted the job, and then their family sees all this improvement, and then they just, they're it's taken away from them, and they don't want to see improvement, and they get fearful of what's going to happen. If is somebody going to say something, things like that. So they're going to keep them at home and start keeping them at home, or stop taking them to get help, and that's really hurtful. I think that's the one of the worst things. Um, Moving down into the bottom of the wheel into financial exploitation, controlling money. I've seen that happen more than enough times in my life. You know, controlling the money is sad because people want to. I feel that individuals know what they want, and it's hard to know when not to get into a scam, or when not to get into but I think education, such as this workshop I attended on Thursday, was key to that. And in teaching the individual, that you don't don't use the money in the wrong way. And I think you have to earn that trust eventually. Yes, there will be some control, but you need to work at that on the autism spectrum. You need to work at setting the limits and showing what money is good and what money is bad. Have the casual conversation. I mean, I control my money. I'm not ashamed to admit that, but I'm very cautious. I watch for scams. I check my accounts, things like that. You just have to be careful. Does not allow the victim to work. There's a fear of work, and then there's one where it doesn't allow the victim to go to work. And I think that happens a lot, especially where I live. Um, Individuals, they get a job, they they got a job and they're doing good, and then the letter comes from Social Security, and then, oh no, you're not going to work now because we're going to take money off your check, and I think that hurts a lot of people. It hurts the agency that placed them. It hurts the employer. It hurts the victim or the individual, because they did something they enjoyed, and then it's just ripped from them in a millisecond sometimes, and there's nothing they can do about it, and they just want to be back into running the disability mills. And I'm not critiquing the disability mills. They're great because I can't work full time. I'm just not mentally able to, and I admit that. But and it's been proven in a hearing. But it's just you just you have to give it a chance. And if it's too much, like I learned, it's too much, and that's okay. Using Speaking of disability income, using the the person's for themselves, and not using it for them for things they need. I've seen that happen way too many times. I've heard of it happen too many times. It is sad because people don't have what they need sometimes, or they don't get to have what they want. And I think they need to take care of themselves, and they need. There's going to be a day in this world when when a person, especially many on the autism spectrum, are going to be, and I know it's a fear, the cliff, the 21, and or when their parents go, and I worry about. That's why I want to get ready to move out. But I think it's a big key thing is, you have to be ready, and so that's why you save, save, save. So okay, moving on to the left of the victim wheel. Um, Abandonment, not going to get into that real big, but it does happen when you can't take care of yourself. They just leave you alone. They don't want to be bothered. Some people do it for a break, but some people do it, as abandonment, and it's not good. Um, Last one, emotional abuse. This is a big one for me. Um, Insults and shames of disability. Yes, we've seen a lot of that this weekend. It's horrible and it's just disgusting. Threaten to place an individual institution. I think that's one of the worst things you can say to a person is to threaten to place them in an institution. It's hurtful. It may stop the behavior, but they're not getting the true help that they need. Threatening the victim, the children, or the service animals. That's horrible. Actually, they will take the dog back. They will take the service animal back, possibly. So that's hurting everybody that's involved. It's hurting the people that got the animal. It's hurting the person, the victim. It's just bad all around. And I just don't know what to think about that. So yeah, I mean, well, that completes the victim wheel. I want to thank the Blackburn Center in Greensburg for sharing this. Greensburg, Pennsylvania. They're the domestic violence organization for Westmoreland County. That's in a county adjoining mine. I went to a Zoom webinar Thursday night, I'm sorry, through this. So we're going to switch back here in just a second. Lastly tonight, I want to make a note of maybe autism is my superpower on Facebook. It's just a shame in the autism community what people do. Now the young man, give him all his credit. Somebody went in and hacked his account, hacked his Facebook account, took all his recordings and made them their own and critiqued them and did very nasty things. Tried selling them, tried recording them, just very nasty things. So as a fellow vlogger and blogger, I just want to mention to everybody: be careful out there, be alert. Not only is there bullying, but their victimization is a key thing too. So just be aware, and don't go away, don't give up. So with that, have a good night. Like, follow, subscribe. Dustin's Dynasty on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Thank you.